Good morning, Stampers. This is Debbie O'Neill, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based out of beautiful Lake Havasu City, Arizona, the American home of the London Bridge. And we're going to do a really cute little owl Christmas card. And what this card also is when you open it up, we have a slide-up pouch that holds a gift card. So it's really very easy, and so come on, let's get started. And also, I will have all the directions and measurements and scores and all of that will be posted along with the video when it goes on to Facebook. I go back to Facebook and then I add it into the post. So all that information will be there for you so you don't have to worry about getting measurements and score lines and things like that. So, okay, let's get started. This is shaded spruce and it is 4 1/4 by 11. This is whispered white and it is 3 inches by 6 3/4. I have I believe this is 4-inch square. Yes, this is 4-inch square. Then designer series paper is 1/8 of an inch smaller. We have some whisper white scraps, a piece of a circle. This is 2 1/4 inches. Of vellum. We have a scrap of whisper white, Mary Merlot, and a frame for our stamped panel. So let's get going. What we'll do first is we will score. Let me get this is our Simply Score board. And it is a jewel. Makes it easy to get things scored really straight. Okay, our shaded spruce, we are going to score at 3 3/4. In fact, this scoreboard has little markers that, see these little holes here? I think you can see them. And you can put them in the hole. If you're going to do repetitive scoring, you can go ahead and put your little tabs in and it'll show you right where the score is, and it makes it really good when you're setting up for a class or if you're doing multiples or anything. Okay, 3 3/4, and then we're going to go over here at 9 1/4, and then this one on the long side also, and we are going to score it at the 1/2 inch point and the 5-inch point. Okay. Now then, when you go to fold, you always want to fold away from the score, and you want to make sure that all your edges are straight, and paper has a mind of its own, so you've got to just show it who is boss. Okay, so this, we're going to take our liquid adhesive, and I like the mono adhesive. It's a wet glue, but it stays malleable for a while. So if you get something, you're mounting something on a sheet, you can kind of jockey it around for a period of time before you have to worry about it being stuck. Okay, this will be the pouch for our gift card. Again, I'm going to use the mono adhesive. Just a thin line, and this is really a powerful glue, so you don't, less is more on it, and what you don't want is you don't want the glue oozing out. Okay, on this little 1/2-inch tab here, we have this one folded up this direction, and this one is going back. So what we want to do is we want to put some tear and tape, and this is a tape that has adhesive on it. Okay, and what this is going to do is see, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but see how that is right there. You can see that, how it goes. So what you want to do is you want to put this just right above the score line here, and even distance on both sides. So what this is going to do is the end of this is going to slide in there so that that slides down. Okay. Now then, I'm going to stamp this with the shaded spruce. And this will say, "From Owl of Us." And I'm going about 1/4 of an inch down from the top, and straight down and straight up. You want to give the ink time to absorb into the paper. A lot of times with new stampers, they stamp and then immediately pull up, and then they don't get a good image. So you want to go straight down, 1, 2, straight up. Okay, and I always clean off all my pads from my workspace, because if you sit around and you are working around an open ink pad, it is a recipe for disaster, because invariably you will push the card over the ink pad, and there you go. Okay. Now then, I'm going to take my triple banner punch here, and I'm going to flag the edge. I'm just going to put that down in the punch, like yay. I want to make sure that I get them. I think I'm going to cut this one off just a hair more. Okay. Then we're going to put this on the sentiment tag. Whoop, wait a minute. This needs to be slightly larger. That must have been the wrong scrap. Okay, see, that's good enough. One thing about live, you can't cover up the mistakes. Okay. And then what we will do is we will put our dimensionals on the back. And always make sure that you get support whenever you are popping something up. You want to have support in the center, because paper has a tendency to bow, and it affects the looks of your card. This is my take your pick tool, and I collect all my little coverings for my dimensionals, and I can get them in my trash so they're not all over my tile floor. Okay, there we go. Now we'll take this sheet and we will mount our DSP to it. This is the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper, and it comes in a pack of 6x6, and I've used quite a bit of it. But there's all kinds of colors. So not only is it good for Christmas, but then on the other side, see, it has different choices. So not only is it good for Christmas, but it's good all year long. Okay. Now then we're going to stamp our image here for our little owl couple. What is the best way to ink a stamp is to hold it like this and just kiss it. Now, a lot of people like to do this, and it's fine, but what happens is they start pushing too hard, and then you get ink all over your acrylic block, which transfers to your hands, which transfers to your project. And usually when it transfers to the project, it transfers to the as you're finishing it, not when you are just beginning. Okay, straight down, 1, 2, straight up. Okay, put those aside. Now then, oops, let me get a shade here. We're going to take and mount this to its backing. And the reason I want 2 stamped images is I'm going to have one in the background that is going to aid me in placing our little couple here and our embellishments. So there is one in behind, but that way you can tell where the branches are, and it just makes placement easier. Okay, now when I put these dimensionals on, I'm moving these up farther because I'm going to move this down slightly, so it's going to be hanging off. So you don't want to turn this up and be able to see where you've glued it together. And always make sure that you get your center supported, because like I say, cardstock bows, and then it makes your card look kind of wonky, and we don't want wonky cards. Okay, and then I am going to mount this just ever so slightly. Whoop. I can see that's on cattywampus, so I'm going to fix that right now. My daddy was an engineer, and that would not fly. There we go. As the kids would say, that's more better. Whoop. Okay, let's get this one mounted here. In each corner. And the center. Oh, extra one sneaked in there. Okay. Now then. There we go. And see, now when you lift this up, you do not see okay. trying to gauge here. This one, I am going to move it down slightly because I don't like how this is looking. This needs to be down here. There we go. That's more better. Okay, now then. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this ready. So take my little bow thingamajobber my hubby made for me. This thing is really cool. I can tie a bow that's half of this size with ease. Okay. Okay, we have the bow. Now then, where we're going to go here is we're going to find our little piece of vellum. And what this is going to do is this is going to simulate the moon in behind him. So what you want to do is you want to put that right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it. Now vellum will show behind, or glue will show behind vellum, but this is going to be covered, so it's not going to show where I put the glue. That's kind of a strategic placement there. Okay, now we want to get this other one here. You will take your dies, and this is the die that goes on this one, and you will place your die just kind of like so, and you run it through your die cutter, and that cuts out your dies. So here you have your little goodies. Okay. And when you're working with dies, make sure they either stay on their magnet, or I have over at the die cutter, I have metal bowls that come from a parts store. And so they hold all your dies so you don't lose them. Okay, so I'm going to take just a little bit of double stick tape here so they don't travel on me. Normally I do these before I cut them out, but for the ease of this video. Okay, now these are our Stampin' Blends, and they are an alcohol marker, and they come in a set, and you get a dark and a light for each color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our Old Olive here, and I will color these in. I start with the light. I know some others start the other way, and then I will add some dark in there just for the shadowing. And this is small, so I'm not going to blend it off. And then I need a red. I need my Mary Merlot here. Actually, my cobbler is good. To get my little red balls here colored. Okay, there's one right in there behind. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ivory, And I'm going to put kind of a little bit of a base coat. I know there's a lot that start with the dark. It's just my preference to start with the light. I kind of learned that working with Copic markers. It wets the paper and it's easier for your colors to blend. Okay, so then we're going to go into our soft suede. Now I'm going to go to the dark and I'm going to put some shadows in. And where you want those shadows in is usually where the artist has put little marks, and that's usually your cue as to where the shadows would go. So, okay, the dark. Now I'm going to move to the light, and I'm going to kind of blend that off. Just catch the edges of the dark and blend them. You want to blend those edges. You don't want to remove those dark edges that give you definition. But you want to catch the edges so they'll blend and there won't be a stark line in between the dark and the light. And then you can go back with the dark a little again. And that gives him a little bit of definition. But these blends are really great because you can just, and if at any time, if you don't like it, say you want to lighten up right over here, you want to, it comes with a fine tip and a brush end. I like the brush end. A lot of people prefer the tip, the fine tip. Okay, there we go. Now let me get a little bit of kind of an orangey. Let me get pumpkin pie here. No, I want a yellow for his beak. This is Mango Melody. And now I am going to use the fine tip to go for the beak. Here and here. And get his little feet. Okay, they are pretty well done here. And that's basically all you have to do. And so what I'm going to do is I will put dimensionals under them. Ooh, that just fits. We have small dimensionals, but those fit, so put these here. Okay, so what I am going to do here is I'm going to mount this right over the top, and whenever you pop something up, it causes there to be shadows around, so it gives you a lot more definition to your project and creates a lot more interest. Okay, so we have that there. And then this. Let me see here. I am going to put just a little bit of my cord because we want this hanging there, and I need my, I call them snot dots, but they really are mini glue dots, and they're on a roll and they have a paper that fits over them so that they will not stick to everything, and you can just barely see them. I remember the first time that I ever used them, I didn't see the dot on there, so I kept unrolling it thinking there wasn't anything there. Well, it touched my arm, and then I had all these little glue dots all over my arm. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tuck this in behind here. There we go. And it probably would have been easier to have done that before I mounted it, but you know what? Life doesn't always happen that way. Okay, so now what we're going to do now is this is a silicone craft sheet, and liquid glue, tape, adhesive rollers, glue guns, anything will not stay on this sheet. In other words, I'll put this blob on there, and eventually it'll dry, but it will not stick. Then you just roll it right off. So it really is good when you are gluing things. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is in the back, I am going to start mounting my greenery. So I just dip it in the glue, and I'm going to put one about yay. And then I'm going to bring one up over in here. Now this I'm going to clip off because I need it to go up underneath, and my glue dot is kind of right there. So I have to clip it just a little bit up through the center. Checking to see if I'm still live. My last attempt, we lost our internet, and I think what happened is the dog was barking earlier, and so we closed the door, and our router is in another part of the house, and I think that there were 2 doors shut in between, and so I think that caused the problem. And before that, Tim was out by the pool, and the dog noticed that the dog next door, we have a wrought iron fence because we look towards the lake, and so we have a wrought iron fence, but it overlooks the backyard next door with their pool. And so their dog was out there, so Bentley was flipping out because he thought Dad was in danger, so that necessitated me stopping one feed. And then another one, I went to sit down, and my stuff fell on the floor. And well, that's about how it went this morning. So I was just looking up here, and we are still on. So that's a good thing. We might actually get finished. So, okay, there you go. Got that. Let's get our bow. Want to clip that off. The tails. And we'll get one of our snot dots. We'll put that right there. Okay, so basically we are almost finished. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stars, because you can see on this image how it has the stars, and you can see them through the vellum, but I'm going to put some stars on. So you could use jewels, you could use the epoxy stars, or you can use regular glitter, not glitter, but confetti, whatever you want to use. And I think I'm going to use these here. I've had these for years, and so I am going to put them, let's see which side here. Which side is the, okay, that's the glue side. I could not see which side was the glue side. Okay, we just put a couple. Usually you'll put, you know, 3 or 5 odd numbers, and usually kind of in a triangular formation, because that is more pleasing to the eye. So, okay, we have got those. And then the very last thing is, you can't tell this on the video, but their eyes, I have some little lacquer. Actually, this is a fine tip glue pen that Stampin' Up! Puts out, and I use it like we used to use the crystal lacquer or crystal effects or any of those products. So I'm going to put them just right over the eyes. And usually with a glue gun, especially a fine tip, and when you're doing this type of thing, you want to get it going first, because if there's a bubble, it's going to come out first, and you don't want the bubble going on your product. So I just put little blobs for their eyes. And there we are. It's in the can, as they say. So I appreciate you being with me today for this project. And like I say, I will put all the statistics for it on the post so that you can recreate it. Watch for our website. We have our old Stamps and Stuff website is being all reworked from the store to accommodate my online business. So that will be at stampsandstuff.org, and that will be after the 15th of October. We're on Facebook, which is where this will be posted first. It'll be on YouTube. So anyway, glad to see you, and the contact information is also in the post. If we can help you with anything, let us know. And there's a link that if you want any of these products, that you can go directly right to my online store, and it has all of Stampin' Up's products there for you, and clicks right into my portion of that. So anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you again. Thank you.